I'm delighted to join in this launch of the new book by President Vaira Vike-Freiberga, The Seven Beauties and Other Literary Essays. It is an excellent book in terms of style, content. It's both rich and enriching, a real work of scholarship, but one that remains most enjoyable to read. It is a welcome addition to those who would build bridges between East and West, bringing an insightful understanding of Nizami's masterpiece to an English-speaking audience. Now, the author, President Vaira Vike-Freiberga, is not only the former president of Latvia and the current co-chair of the Board of Trustees of the Nizami Ganjavi International Center, the NGIC, she is also a truly formidable academic with an enormous range of skills. She has mastered learning, memory, and perception in experimental psychology. She has published pioneering work on quantitative statistical analysis of certain aspects of language. And then she is an expert on cognitive psychology, psycholinguistics, and more generally, language as a means of expression. She also deploys the concepts and insights of other fields in the social sciences and the humanities, including anthropology, extremely well. Throughout her work presented in this book, we get glimpses of her as the trained psychologist and as the erudite reader of the best in many cultures, but above all, as a smooth, fluid, and accessible writer. The work starts with a long opening essay on Nizami's epic poem on the Haft Paikar, or the Tales of the Seven Beauties, which gives the book its title and which is most important today, and it is what I will limit my brief remarks to covering today in this meeting. Yet I must say that all her essays repay close attention, from her excellent papers that deal with aspects of oral and literary poetry in part 2 to the 4 chapters dealing with narrative prose in part 3. But today we celebrate President Vaira Vike-Freiberga's treatment of the Haft Paikar, Nizami's Tales of the Seven Beauties, one of his immortal Hamsa. It is the heart of the great book, and it thoroughly reflects the author's perceptive understanding of the complex material and her erudition, for she has undertaken outstanding deconstruction of one of the most complex epic poems ever written, one that I personally have called a complex mosaic, where every time you get close to one of the pieces constituting the mosaic, you find that it is made of even more embedded pieces. But President Vike-Freiberga's analysis not only sets the stage for an appreciation of Nizami and the man's character and his standing in his time, but also explains the position of this epic work, the Haft Paikar, in his overall production. We all remember it as the fourth of his justly famous quintet of masterworks known as the Hamsa. She is able to lead the reader through that very complex masterpiece by showing the structure that undergirds the complexity. And she further explains that by drawing contrasts and parallels from within the text of the Seven Beauties, adding explanatory discussions on the meaning of the symbolism used by the poet. And she points out how these symbols can have additional meaning in other contexts. She follows and unravels the thread of a key narrative while she peels off layer after layer of this multi-layered construction that Nizami put in this masterpiece. She explains the overall tripartite structure of the Haft Paikar and takes out the juiciest and most important part, the middle part, proceeds to explain in detail the construction of that central part that has the stories of the Seven Beauties. And here, her work brings us several new dimensions that advance our understanding and appreciation of the work. Not only does she deftly unpack the stories embedded one in the other, where tales are told by narrators twice and thrice and even multiple times removed from the poet Nizami himself, but also she draws on her vast knowledge of global literature and of the critical theories of symbolism to illuminate the multiple dimensions that are interwoven in this intricate text, explaining the powerful symbols of the colors, of the number 7, and of other subtle references. She draws with ease on a remarkable array of human culture, from religious perspectives to modern writers to ancient literature. That a deft, effortless mastery of this enormous range of material adds to our understanding and our appreciation. But in addition to all that, the discussion acquires a sort of syncretism by its unique ability to combine concepts and ideas from different cultures, times, and critical disciplines, all the while enhancing our understanding and appreciation of the original text of Nizami that is being analyzed. For example, she would show how Nizami's Turandot represents subtleties in the interaction of the prince with the anima aspect of his own psyche, which he has to recognize in the path to psychological and spiritual maturation that Carl Jung referred to as individuation, and so on. These references or allusions to other cultures and disciplines and times are so well chosen that they invariably illuminate the Nizami text and add to our understanding and appreciation, never dispersing our attention from the disquisition at hand. She exhibits a learned casualness by her remarkable ability to show contrasting or confirming meanings in different parts of Nizami's text, as well as other masterworks of various cultures and languages. By now, you will all have gathered that I'm a great admirer of both the author and her work, and that I strongly, very strongly recommend the book to one and all. Thank you, President Vaira Vike-Freiberga, for having added that masterful book to the works that would bring literary critics' toolkit to the better understanding of Nizami's magnificent poetic tale with all its subtleties and complexities. Thank you for having shined the light of your deep and sympathetic understanding on the work of the great sage of Ganja, the poet of the Khamsa, for by so doing, you have made it more accessible to the many, specialists and general readers alike. Thank you.
Dear Vaira, thank you today again for one new great masterpiece that you produced and you shared with us. This time it's about women based on a great Nizami Ganjavi work and philosophy, this time devoted to women, but not only to women, devoted practically to the suffering of the people today, especially women and children all over the world that are living in such an unjust world. I'm sure that based on Nizami Ganjavi International Center platform and people that are together with you under your leadership, together on promoting what the world today needs: dialogue, tolerance, learning, and understanding. Congratulations and thank you, dear Vaira, my dear President.
Dear Vaira, I want to thank and congratulate you with the publication of this beautiful book. It's hard to describe how much effort went into this initiative, how much dedication, love, and commitment was required from you to have it accomplished, for us to have the luxury of holding this book in our hands and then being exposed to the beauty of Nizami Ganjavi philosophy. More than ever, we need this in our societies. We need the powerful message of dedication to dialogue, love, peaceful coexistence among nations that is so well reflected in Nizami Ganjavi legacy being accessible to the wider audiences. This book is beautiful inside and out. It is a result of tedious work and meticulous attention to every little detail from your side. And we're very fortunate that as a Nizami Ganjavi Center, we are part of that initiative and we can.
The whole world knows about Romeo and Juliet, the great work of Shakespeare. But people may not be aware that there was an Asian equivalent, Layla and Majnun. And this was, of course, the epic work of the great poet and writer Nizami Ganjavi. His work, unfortunately, is not very well known. But here, President Vaira has really paid tribute to this great writer who was Nizami Ganjavi. And through this work of Seven Beauties, she actually elaborates and brings to the world the famous narrative which was espoused and the values espoused by Nizami Ganjavi, especially when it comes to women's rights and issues about respecting women generally. So it's a great pleasure to hear that today this work will be celebrated in Baku and President Vaira will be presenting this work. A great tribute indeed to the famous Nizami Ganjavi International Center, which has been instrumental in promoting the work of this great poet, this great writer, and rightly so. His work needs to be known across the world. Congratulations, President Vaira, for taking on this amazing work, and you really have done justice to this great author who was Nizami Ganjavi. And we hope that more such work will come so that the world of literature and the world at large will get to appreciate the fantastic work of the great poet Nizami Ganjavi.
Her Excellency Vaira Vike-Freiberga wrote a new book, very important one, Nizami Ganjavi's Seven Beauties and other essays on literature. I had the honor to have this beautiful book in my computer for the first reading, and I'm really delighted. It's a book in which President Vaira Vike-Freiberga is writing not only about Nizami Ganjavi's Seven Beauties, but about native written culture in many parts of the world. It's some kind of encyclopedia of beauty written in many books all around the world. So I'm very convinced that after brilliant political career, after brilliant scientific career, now Her Excellency Vaira Vike-Freiberga is going to write many important new books. She is now very distinguished politician, former president, but also very distinguished scientist. I'm delighted to have this book primarily in e-version, so I have it in my computer, but I was really delighted to study this book and to enrich my soul by beauty of this content. So congratulations, Your Excellency Vaira Vike-Freiberga. I'm expecting new books, and I think you are one of those persons who always have something important to tell to the contemporary world. Congratulations.
It's my great pleasure and honor to speak on this occasion when our co-chair, President Vaira Vike-Freiberga, signs her book, Nizami Ganjavi, Seven Beauties. Her Excellency is a competent politician, a world figure, and at the same time, she is a very brilliant intellectual. I have listened to Her Excellency many times and have read some of her work, and I'm very proud to say that I am really very impressed by the high level and good quality of her work. I wish Her Excellency all success to enrich our knowledge, to add to the works of the other intellectuals who serve humanity. And I really wanted very badly to be with you at this moment, but unfortunately, because of the circumstances that we are going through, this didn't happen. I look forward to seeing Her Excellency and all my great friends in Nizami Ganjavi International Center in future occasions. I wish those who are attending this ceremony all happiness and enjoy reading this wonderful book.
Dear President Freiberga, dear Vaira, congratulations for your beautiful book, which really contributes to the legacy of Nizami Ganjavi. It is a credit to you that you dedicated your efforts to this cause, as well as to promoting Latvian poetry and folk traditions of your country. I wish you great success with the book.